There is no I in team, but there is an I in influence. And today we are going to take a look at the big corporate myth that keeps you getting overlooked. Let's get into the Leaders Lounge. Hey, y'all, we've been off for a couple of weeks. We are back today, and it is the perfect time because, of course, we have Lead Out Loud, our world class communication symposium, coming to you on September the 17th, right here in Nashville. And today's episode is going to focus on why it's so important to lead out loud. Because as someone who's been a part of corporate America for over 15 years, I believed my mama don't say lie, but I believed the lie. And the lie was there's no I in team. Everybody works together. Even if you do work that's excellent, you really don't want to pump it up too much because it's all a team effort. And while, yeah, there are some team accomplishments that by everybody putting their pieces together, the whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts. At the end of the day and the beginning of the day, if you are going to be recognized as someone who is ready to move up the corporate ladder, you've got to focus on the I that influences. And so let me talk a little bit about first why you focusing on you is important in corporate America. I'll give you a little background. So I worked in corporate America for, again, 15 years, maybe 20. I did move up the corporate ladder somewhat. I moved into a leadership role at my first company where I was a corporate regional training manager. And then I was a training manager when I went to my last company, or second to last company at in MAPCO, and I managed training for 350 stores. And then at my last company, which was Lee Company here in Nashville, I was the head of training for all of their locations, well, their main location, and then all of their training sites, which was about 5 or 6 between Alabama, Cookeville, Bowling Green, Nashville. So I had some visibility. However, as they talk about that glass ceiling, I guess it was there. And I am going to say that a large part of that was because I was wrapped up in that notion that, just put your head down, do the work. They're going to recognize everything that you do. And when that opportunity comes, you're going to be ready for that position. Well, I was ready for the position at my last company, but they brought somebody in from the outside to do that work, to move into the office and become whatever the next level was. I guess as a vice president of training. Now, this is how I blame myself, and this is what I don't want you to do. While I was there, and again, I had some visibility, I didn't put myself enough in a position to be influential enough to be seen at the next level. So just enough, just taking the assignments that are given to me, not necessarily illuminating my voice enough so that I'm seen as that next level person in the organization. And this is why leading out loud is so important. Not only that, while working for the organization, which times have even changed in the 6-7 years since I've been out of corporate America, but not really utilizing LinkedIn and letting people know this is what I do, right? This is my expertise. And this is why I'm valuable as an entrepreneur and valuable as somebody who's an expert in training and leadership. So when I came out of corporate America, people knew me for my dance fitness work because that's what I was promoting on LinkedIn, not LinkedIn, I'm sorry, on Instagram and Facebook. But I never really promoted, hey, I'm an outstanding facilitator, and this is some of the work that I've done in that space, because that really was my life's corporate work, right? That was my body of expertise. And so when we're talking about learning to lead out loud, it's really about mastering that I in influence, understanding that you have a voice. And even if you're working for an organization, you have to make sure that you stay in charge of the business that is you. You are the CEO of your own life. And a job may come and go. I don't care what level you are. If you're not owning it, there can be a meeting that's taking place with you not in it, where they are scratching your name off the list or writing your name on the severance list, right? So when you come out, you don't want it to be where people don't know what you're doing or how you're of value. So you have to keep in a position of influence in the organization and outside of the organization. And so when we have our Lead Out Loud World Class Communication Symposium on September the 17th, that is our focus. Our focus is really in helping you to understand. I watched a video the other day and a gentleman was talking about loving out loud, right? He said, I don't want anybody to be silent about loving me or thinking that, hey, you know what, they're feeling a certain way about me and they're not sharing it. It's the same thing when you're talking about leading out loud. You don't want to be someone who wants to be seen as an influencer or wants to be seen as someone who can lead and guide teams, and you're keeping it all to yourself in an organization. And then when a position comes up, you just think automatically they are going to say you're the one. When what I tell people all the time is you are being interviewed every day. You are being interviewed every day. Even when you think you are not, you are. So when the position comes available, they already have in their minds whether they think you are or are not the person for that role. Now, I have to back up a little bit and say this. As I'm thinking through that last position that I had, now I got a, what's it called? Consistently exceeds on my review. My boss who was leaving told me, hey, Dawn, do not let them do not let them pigeonhole you into this role. And I thought, oh, everything's going to be okay. You know, they love me here. Everything is great. But he had been in some back rooms that I wasn't in. So he was privy to some conversations about how they were designing my life, right, without me being there. And, long story short, things got interesting before I left, let's just say, because what ended up happening was the person who was brought in didn't have any training experience. So while I went and talked to the CEO, I went and talked to the person who they had left in charge, who was the chief financial officer, interestingly enough, because why they would put a chief financial officer in charge of somebody in human resources, don't know. But be that as it may, because I knew I had done an outstanding job there, I believed that I was the person for the role. So I was very confused when they ended up bringing somebody in from the outside. And so again, things got interesting before I ended up leaving. But what I will say is, again, on my end, I have to take ownership for the fact that I believed so wholly in the company that I didn't position myself in a way that when and the if did come, I left the company, people would already know I am a leader in the training and development space, have been for years. These are some of the works that I have done so that I'm easily moving into this role. So, again, not that you're going to leave the company, but you have to always think about the business called you. And Lead Out Loud is designed to help you to master and manage the business called you. How will you end up doing presentations so that when you're in your organization and you're called into a leadership role, you know how to do a presentation about your accomplishments, your vision for the company, how you can help the company be better should you be hired for the next level role. We are going to discuss that. How do you handle working with the larger team in difficult conversations and sharing your vision, in aligning them around your vision, your new team, and delegating effectively? These are all communication points that you are going to have as you move up the ladder, and you need to have that mastered if you are going to master the I in influence. And then the third thing that we're going to talk about and discuss and make sure that you're ready for when we go into Lead Out Loud is the confidence piece. When you are coming to go before next level leaders, a lot of times people stay back not because they don't know the work, but because they don't have the confidence to stand flat footed in front of a group of whomever and speak on whatever subject they need to speak on with confidence, with clarity, with articulation, and with no fear. So we are going to help you to do that as well. It's important that when you are a part of a team, that you are seen as a valuable, integral part of that team. It's also important that you are seen as someone who can get to the next level. So that final piece is about how do you manage your career while you are in the company? What are the discussions that you need to have? What are the connections that you need to make from within so that you can make sure that you are ready when you get to the next level, or ready to go to the next level when the opportunity comes? These are all critical points that, frankly, people are not going to just share with you when you come into corporate America, because guess what? They all want to get there too. And so the myth that there's no I in team, yeah, there may not be. I still say there is an I in team, and that I is the influence of you. So you want to make sure that you stay influential. Register if you have not, worldclasstraining.net/grow. You will find all of the information for Lead Out Loud. Right above that, I'm actually doing a book signing event this Saturday. And so I had to put that at the top because it's really important for me also to take care of the youth. I'm going to just share this also. So on Saturday, August the 29th, I will be at My Brother's Keeper Nashville. It is an organization that was started by President Obama during his administration that supports uplifting and positioning youth to be ready to enter career, be ready to enter work. It focuses on one of the milestones is helping them to be able to read at a certain grade level. And so as a part of that, the Purpose Over Pressure 6th Annual Youth Empowerment Summit, I will be not only signing books, but there is an opportunity for anyone who can't make it or anyone who just wants to support a child being able to read. These are teenage children. We are going to give away books to them. I've been working talking to, I should say, My Brother's Keeper for quite some time about doing work with them. They are not able to purchase enough books for the entire group. And so through this effort, we want to get enough books purchased so that every one of those students can get a book. And particularly the What Would Barack Do? Inspiring Presidential Tools for the Leader in You is the book that I also train to TRIO students. TRIO is a part of a federally funded program, and it helps the part of TRIO that I work with is called Upward Bound, and Upward Bound works with 14 to 17-year-old students, helping them to be ready to enter college and careers. And so I train a program called Inspiring Presidential Tools for the Leader in every student around my book, What Would Barack Do? Inspiring Presidential Tools for the Leader in You. And I've also trained that to some MBK, My Brother's Keepers organizations. So we want to get this in the hands of the My Brother's Keeper Nashville group because it's so critical for them not only to understand the story of the person who whose vision it was to start the organization, but also to know about some of his leadership skills during his candidacy and subsequent presidency. And that's what this book does. So again, go to worldclasstraining.net/grow for that, as well as for Lead Out Loud. Lead Out Loud is happening September the 17th right here in Nashville. All right. Because again, there is no I in team, but there is an I in influence. And the core of leadership is influence. So please make sure to register for that. We're going to be promoting it a lot because the priority enrollment pricing goes up on August the 31st. So you want to jump on it right now. Make sure that you are in the room. We want to see you there. I can't wait because we are going to really dispel all the myths about, hey, you know what? Just sit back, keep your head down, and hope somebody's coming to get you, because guess what? Nobody's coming to save you. You got to save yourself. All right. All righty. So I will see you next time. And always remember, the World Class Training Institute, when you are better, we're absolutely better. Take care.